Janet Napolitano was in the Rio Grande Valley yesterday, insisting, she says, that some of the largest cities and counties in Texas along the border are among the safest areas in the U.S. And then, at the same time she's down there, you have a woman, she's the first victim. She's pushing a stroller in El Paso. She's struck by a stray bullet from a gunfight in Mexico. And she calls that safe. Your reaction when you hear that?
Each time this administration denies there is a problem, it only emboldens the violent drug cartel members and their heinous activities that are infiltrating our country. This is not just a Texas problem, it's a national security breach, and this administration is living in denial and citing faulty statistics to bolster their claim.
You know, and it's interesting you say that because, you know what, I was in North Carolina talking with the sheriff there, and he said, you know, it is an invasion. It's not just a border issue. He called it an invasion of America. And I know you have already written 2 letters to the president concerned about all of this. Did he respond to them? Did the Secretary of Homeland Security, did she call you when she was in town?
My phone has not been ringing. The president has not responded. We have reached out to this administration, the CBP director, the ICE director, and they refuse to talk to us. But protecting our people from international terrorism is the fundamental role of government. And we have firsthand testimony of farmers and ranchers where they're being chased off their own property, they're being shot at. And the crime statistics that this administration is hanging their hat on does not even include things like kidnapping, money laundering, drug deals, all the things that define what drug cartel activity is about. We know that cocaine and heroin and all types of illegal narcotics are in every major city in America, and billions of dollars are flowing south, and that they refuse to acknowledge the problem, and that American lives are at stake when they make these types of statements.
You know, and Commissioner, I know you're aware of it. I mean, you have firsthand accounts. You've got farmers there. They're moving out. They can't sell their land. Nobody wants to buy. It used to be high-value property. I mean, what are you hearing from them?
Well, our farmers and ranchers, I've been in landowner listening sessions with no press so they could tell me firsthand the atrocities that are occurring. And many of our tough Texans have confessed to me that they're afraid to go their own property. They certainly don't let their children go out there. And many of our lands are sitting vacant and idle today because of the ongoing threat and because the administration says there's no problem. Mm-hmm. Today there is a plan to reduce our National Guard troop strength that has been on the border, and that sends the wrong message. It's misguided and dangerous policy that this administration continues to espouse.
What do you say needs to be done that they are not doing?
Well, first of all, if they won't listen to me and they won't listen to the farmers and ranchers of Texas, the firsthand witnesses that this is occurring to, they need to listen to 2 of our nation's top senior military executives, retired General Barry McCaffrey and retired Major General Bob Scales, who co-authored a report that I commissioned that paints a sobering picture of the foothold that the cartels are taking as they infiltrate the rural regions of our state, and that expands into every community in America.
You know,
there are some specific things that can be done, and one is we need more Border Patrol agents, more boots on the ground. California, Arizona, and New Mexico has about 14 border agents per border mile. Texas has barely over 6. We need to increase our National Guard troop strength, not decrease it. And as our surplus military equipment comes home from Iraq, as it's decommissioned, taxpayers have already paid for this equipment, and we need to use that to defend our own border after we've defended foreign borders, and exercise Article 4, Section 4 of our United States Constitution and demand that the United States government defend us from invasion, and this is certainly what's happening.
And, you know, I know you've heard this, Commissioner, but I've been down there, and as you said, I've interviewed ranchers. They won't even go to the mailbox without a firearm. But, you know, they're saying to me, you know, we've asked the president, we asked Napolitano, come down here for just one day, live where we live, but they won't come. Why do you think it is? They won't come. They won't even recognize the fact that this is going on in their backyards.
Well, I think they have different priorities for America than what Americans have. The president's own budget that was recently issued calls for a 41% increase in the Department of Energy, a 15% increase in the Department of Commerce, but asks for nothing when it comes to border security and defending our porous border. And that's shameful that that's the level of priorities that we have when we argue a great deal about what the proper role of government is, but defending our border is essential to liberty, and this administration needs to step up. And quite frankly, I must say, Jenny, that Mexico is the number 2 trade export market for the United States of America, billions of dollars in trade, resulting in a million jobs here in America. And it's this legal trade that we want to preserve, but when lives are at stake and people are being chased off their own property, that's not a tolerance for violence that I'm willing to accept.
No, and you say this administration needs to step up. They're stepping up, all right. Their plan is to take away our farms. They blame us. They blame the gun dealers. They blame the law-abiding for what's going on. And, our own president does. He goes to Mexico and says, hey, I know we're responsible.
Well, and that's a sad commentary on what their response is. And in Texas, I was a member of the legislature when we passed the concealed handgun law and supported that. I was a member of the legislature when we changed our laws to respect our citizens' rights and allow them to carry their guns in their vehicles. And we believe in personal defense and personal liberty, but you shouldn't have to rely upon that when we have a well-documented breach of national security, when the problem continues to grow. And, they cite that they've increased the troop strength, the law enforcement numbers, but that's like telling a person that's been in a car wreck, we have bandaged your knee, now go and be well, when the rest of your body is suffering with cuts and bruises. We need a comprehensive approach to solving this problem, and any time it is denied, it only sends the wrong message about what the resolve of America happens to be. And we need a commander-in-chief that will state the right message, protect our citizens, and say we're going to do what is necessary to defend America.
Commissioner, I also know you just launched a website so that people can, put pressure on this president. It's called Protect Your Texas Border. What kind of impact, what kind of reaction are you getting from this?
Well, it's been very good response to the website protectyourtexasborder.com, because it's not me saying it, it's our own farmers and ranchers. We're showing how our law enforcement, they're doing a great job of going after these drug cartel members as they try to move drugs into our country. And you will see, Jenny, video clips from helicopters overhead and the chases on the ground. But what is appalling is that these violent terrorists that have stolen your vehicle, loaded it with drugs, they head for the Rio Grande to escape our law enforcement. They don't even tap the brakes. They do a splashdown in the Rio Grande, and before their vehicle touches the water, boats are launched from the Mexican side. They are recovering their driver and their drugs, and our law enforcement officials are standing on the banks of the United States of America, unable to pursue them and to change the rules of engagement to stop this kind of behavior.